right, let's get into the advisory now, particularly in the wake of this week's rate cut. Kitty Parker from Kitty and Miles joins us. Great to see you, Kitty.
Nice to see you again and lovely to meet you, Nadine.
You too. Cheers to the weekend.
Exactly.
Yes.
And to probably a very busy weekend for a buyer's agent like you. What sort of demand are you seeing?
Yes, we'll just say that everyone is hot on the market with regard to auctions. I'm noticing buyer number turnout at open inspections and auctions rather high. And this is especially so because we're just starting the spring market in Sydney. So we've passed through the school holiday period of July and we're just starting to see the start of the spring market.
So what is your take on where property prices sat, pre this widely expected, highly anticipated cut coming from the RBA and where we sit now?
Okay, well, there was a bit of a window of opportunity for buyers in July. I saw the market, there was a very slight softening just for about 4 to 6 weeks, but I've really noticed in the last week things are starting to pick up. And with Tuesday's, 0.25% rate cut, I think we're really in for a good spring market.
And of course, when you buy, you need a deposit. The lower rate cuts don't necessarily take away that hurdle, right?
That is absolutely spot on. So while the rate cuts may improve borrowing capacity and give you a little bit more, fuel in the tank to buy, it really does not change the fact that you need that 20% deposit. And in the Sydney market, that's a really hefty sum to save up.
It's huge, isn't it? I mean, I feel for anybody young starting out. I feel for people who, are trying to get in at any age into the property market. And I also feel for people who are perhaps later in life and have had to deal with a change in circumstances, be that, divorce or death. I mean, do you see this a lot where it just is insurmountable?
I see this a lot. Oh, goodness me, Nadine. I see this a lot. I see there's a new cohort of people that I find as clients that are really struggling. And they're usually the divorced women who have children that are either their teen years or first few years of university. They've been married for 20 years. They're finding themselves newly divorced or newly separated, and they're needing to get back into the market. And while one may assume they have a good settlement from said divorce or that, not all of them do. And so I often see women probably in their late 40s or early 50s really starting out in the market again. And this is a cohort that I feel is overrepresented with regard to home buyers. We'll call it first home buyers because they really are. They haven't owned in their own name before. And I'm seeing this cohort really, coming in more and more needing help to buy. And I feel that government policy isn't really, looking towards this cohort and doing much to help them.
So what's your advice in terms of how we sort of fix this housing insecurity? We had JobStarter this week showing record female participation, but as you say, when it comes to owning home, we're a strong way away from that.
Yeah, we really are. The government introduced the first home guarantee, and this is one of the incentives to help first homeowners get into the market. And data suggests that 85% of those taking up the first home guarantee are actually single or divorced women or single parents, namely females. So they're very much overrepresented with regard to the statistics, the data out there. And in my professional opinion, I don't see the government, tackling this anytime soon.
Well, hopefully at the roundtable something comes out because it's supply, isn't it? You're on the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, it's supply stupid, if I can borrow a phrase, that's widely bandied about. I mean, do you see any sort of, are people saying that they've got to move out to the regions, or, what's the solution if you find yourself in that precarious position?
Realistically, even as we move to the peripheral areas of Sydney, there's still a lack of supply. This is really all round. So this lack of supply problem is not just in the metropolitan Sydney region. It's really far stretched. We have very, very low levels of construction. So there's not a lot of new builds, to meet the demand. And it comes down to being a classic supply demand problem. With higher population, with more folks getting in there and wanting to buy, but there's just not the stock to meet their needs.
So if I can just be nosy, and because it's a Friday, so if you had, your perfect client come to you, or the perfect solution for a client, like what's an example of something that you've done for somebody lately that has really made you go home and think, good job?
Goodness me. Honestly, it really takes a team to help people buy at the moment. So I would say the starting point is even before me, it's getting a really, really good mortgage broker. So it's about getting somebody that doesn't just deal with basic situations, but really understands how to navigate gray areas and extract borrowing capacity like it's an art form, really knowing what they're doing. And you do need a buyer's agent these days. 5 years ago, I would say buyer's agents were for those that had high disposable income. Nowadays, the number of clients that I am helping that may be new to the country, first home buyers looking to buy in Western Sydney, I'm really seeing a buyer's agent is needed just for the everyday person wanting to buy in Sydney.
So even if you see something on Domain or REA Group, it's not enough to just rock up to those.
Not enough. We have underquoting going on. We have such huge buyer competition that often by the time you see something online and you arrange to view the property on a Saturday, offer's gone in and it's gone. So it's a very competitive market, and you need to position yourself as a home buyer in pole position.